Hello everyone, sinnhat was unconscious, drugs scattered all over the floor. The whole family turned suspicious eyes on her husband, Hang, who had just returned from work. But the truth gradually revealed. The person under suspicion was actually her mother-in-law. Suspecting that she had secretly changed the drugs, the police immediately got involved and planned to arrest her. What secret was hidden behind that gentle appearance? Hang was stunned, standing still in the middle of the cramped house, her eyes filled with shock. He stammered, his voice trembling, "No, it's not me. I just got home from work." His hands trembled slightly. He walked over and sat down next to his wife. His eyes were panicked. His heart was beating fast. "I didn't do it. I swear," his voice choked, almost pleading, but when he reached out to grab her hand, his wife pushed him away. Her eyes filled with fear and doubt. No one would listen to his explanation. His mother-in-law pointed straight at him, her voice full of reproach. "Your wife almost died. How can you deny it?" The whole house was filled with anger and suspicion. He was silent, his eyes red, not knowing how to prove his innocence. A moment later, he looked up, his eyes red, looking straight at his wife, his voice low and trembling. "I didn't do it. When it happened, I was still at the company. There were witnesses. I know everyone is angry, but I'm not cruel enough to harm my own wife." Kin was silent. Hang's words just now were like a small pin popping out, causing the tough shell he had always worn to tremble. His eyes softened, no longer the usual cold gaze, no longer the harshness that was always present every time the two argued. There was only a quiet, very thin light, as if he had just seen something that he had deliberately avoided for so long. He glanced at the clock. The minute hand had just moved to 7:35 p.m., the time the company got off work, just as Hang had said. Not fast, not slow, undeniable. Hang turned to look at his wife. In that moment, he saw clearly her eyes, red, not because of anger, but because of helplessness. Those eyes, which had once been the place where he found peace, now contained only a mess, regret, fear, and pain. But he didn't have time to look any longer. His mother-in-law's scream rang out again like a whip across his back. "You talk so well. Do you have any proof? Or are you just good at acting like you have been all these years?" She almost screamed, pointing straight at Hang's face. "I knew from the beginning that you were worthless. If I let my daughter die because of you, I won't be a mother anymore." The atmosphere in the room almost exploded. The words her mother said were aimed at her. Hang felt each sentence like a sharp knife cutting into her flesh. Each word was a scratch. Each sound was a missed heartbeat. Kin stood still, pursed his lips, eyes still fixed on his mother. The air was still thick after the chaos, but he suddenly spoke, his voice even and cold. "Mom, lately, besides our family, is there anyone else who often comes in and out of the house?" His mother blinked, a little surprised by the question, then frowned and replied immediately, her voice annoyed. "Yes, Hang's mother, of course. Every time she comes, she picks a fight, scolds, and makes fun of everything from the broom to the pot. I speak but no one listens. She really brings trouble into the house." The atmosphere suddenly became quiet. Hang stood behind, her eyes darkened, her heart pounding. Her mother-in-law's answer was like a knife stabbing straight into the doubt he was still trying to deny. Kin slowly turned towards Hang, his gaze cold for a beat. "Could it be? It's her." Kin quickly comforted his mother, then together with Hang, made a detailed plan. The two quickly prepared the tools, ready to start acting according to their predetermined intention. Late afternoon, the golden sunlight slanted through the old porch. The mother-in-law was sitting on the chair in front of the house. Her eyes were cold as if she was grinding something bitter in her heart. Her face was marked by time, but there was no motherly kindness there, but a coldness and calculation that was terrifying. She stared out the alley, waiting for Hang to return. A faint smile appeared on her lips. No one knew what she was preparing, but in her eyes, it was clear that a dark plan had just been formulated. The afternoon was approaching. The sun was fading behind the bamboo grove at the end of the village. Mother-in-law Hang and Sinnhat called each other to go to the field to plant the last rice field of the day. In their haste to carry the load basket hat, both of them accidentally left the door ajar without locking it. The wind from the field blew in, blowing the door open little by little. making a spine-chilling creaking sound. Inside, the house was strangely quiet. At the same time, at the entrance of the village, an old motorbike turned onto the dirt road leading to the village. Hang was driving, behind her was her brother, his face stern, his eyes sharp as knives. From afar, Hang and Kin were entering through the half-open gate. Her face immediately darkened, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. Coming back at this time. How could there be such a coincidence? Kin only took Hang to the yard and then returned. This was their plan? To make Hang's mother complacent? Could Hang overhear anything from her mother? As Hang reached the steps, she spoke first, her voice as sharp as a knife. Come back to this house. Aren't you going to your wife's house anymore? Hang stood up straight, looked straight at her mother, and said evenly, I forgot a few things, also I'll go back and review some things. He sat on the chair, took a deep breath, and spoke calmly but meaningfully. Mom, my wife just came back from the hospital, the doctor said. She has signs of recovering her voice. After saying that, he stood up and walked slowly into the house, leaving behind a heavy and expectant atmosphere. Hang stepped lightly into the house, her figure as silent as a ghost. He stopped near the living room door, pressed his ear close to the crack, listening for the slightest sound. Every word his mother said echoed in his mind, lighting a fire of suspicion in his heart that grew more and more intense. He knew the truth was gradually being revealed. After overhearing her mother's secret words, Hang's eyes flashed with suspicion and determination. He quickly made an excuse, I'm going to work. But deep down, he knew that it was just an excuse to meet his brother-in-law to discuss the plan to expose the truth. As soon as he reached the door, he stole another glance at his mother, who was standing there, her face tense and calculating. The game is not over, it has just begun. The truth is getting closer, and no one can escape. Immediately after leaving the house, Hang returned, this time not alone. He led his brother-in-law quietly into the yard, hiding behind the wall of the house. They both stood in silence, trying to keep their breathing even so as not to be detected. Their ears turned towards the warehouse door where his mother was talking. She whispered in a low but scheming voice, let him think his mute wife is about to speak, all the better. When the time comes, I will make him mute forever. Then suddenly, a smile appeared on her lips. Not the gentle smile of a mother, but a sinister, distorted, cold smile. The mother-in-law quietly walked out of the house, her eyes quickly scanning the yard as if she had just hidden a secret that no one should know. Her steps were determined but quiet, her eyes fixed on Hang's mother-in-law's house. The house was quiet, the door unlocked, just as she had planned. She turned into the yard, her figure stooped but her eyes sharp as knives, looking back and forth, making sure no one was paying attention. She gently pushed the door open. The old hinges made a dry squeak sound, but she did not falter. Still holding the medicine bag in one hand, she quietly walked in, like a shadow. Little did she know that, from behind the window curtains, two eyes were watching her every expression, every little gesture. The mask she had worn for so long was slowly cracking, and this time, there would be nowhere to hide. It was still the same old medicine cabinet, right on the corner of the table by the window. She walked over, her gaze sweeping over the familiar bottle. Her eyes darkened, her lips pressed together. A second later, her lips twitched slightly, then a crooked smile appeared, slanted to one side as if she was trying to hold back her laughter but couldn't. She opened the bag, pulled out a strange blister pack, her fingers trembling but sure, as if she had done this more than once. Her voice mumbled, soft like the hissing of a snake, this time. Then her eyes narrowed, her breathing became more rapid. I will make you mute, mute forever. Don't even think about telling anyone. The mother-in-law had just put the medicine bottle in her bag, turned around and walked out of the room, her heart feeling light as if she had just released a heavy burden. But as soon as she turned around, she suddenly saw Mr. Hang and Mr. Kin rushing in like thunder, their eyes angry, their hands pointing straight at her, asking you what you are doing in your wife's house. She froze in the doorway, her face pale, her hands clutching the bag that was shaking violently. Her plan had just been crushed right before her eyes. Caught red-handed, the mother-in-law was still stubborn, her voice faltering, but she tried to keep her composure. I just came in to look for something. Who said I changed the medicine? Do you have any evidence to accuse me? Her eyes kept moving, her face red with anger and panic. You sided with your wife's family and then turned around to blame your mother. Hang? She screamed, her shrill voice tearing through the air. She tried to keep her composure, smiling faintly. I just stopped by to visit. What's the big deal? But before she could say anything more, her husband-in-law walked over, holding his phone. The screen still on, he pressed play on the video. Her voice rang out clearly. Chillingly, I'll shut him up forever. The whole house fell silent. The mother-in-law froze, her eyes wide open, her forehead covered in cold sweat. The mask she had worn for so many years, morality, love for her children, concern for her grandchildren, fell off in that moment, shattered, with nothing left to cover it. A second of silence passed, and she burst out, trying to shout out as a reflex. I just said that to vent my anger. I didn't do anything. You're slandering me. But her voice was trembling. Her hands clutched the hem of her shirt, her eyes darting around like a cornered animal. No one believed her anymore. There was no place to hide. Mr. Hang looked straight at her, his voice stern and resolute. If you refuse to admit the truth, we will have to ask the commune police to handle it. Don't let things go too far. Having finished speaking, Hang did not wait another second. He walked straight forward, grabbed her arm tightly, and pulled her away. Mom, I'm sorry. But this time, I can't let you continue to do wrong. She struggled angrily. Let go. I'm not going anywhere. Do you want to humiliate me? It was getting dark. The wind was starting to get chilly. Sinnhat and his mother-in-law Hang had just pushed open the bamboo gate and entered the yard. Their bodies still covered in mud after a day in the fields. As soon as she entered the door, she felt the unusual atmosphere. The house was dead silent. Everyone's eyes were on the mother-in-law, who was standing there, frozen. Kim took out her phone. The video was still playing. Her voice rang out coldly. I will make her mute forever. Sinnhat and his mother were silent. After listening to the recording, Sinnhat's mother's face turned red with anger. She pointed straight at Hang's mother's face, her voice harsh. Oh my God, what kind of mother are you? Why did you poison my child? Are you no longer human? The house shook with the loud shout. Sinnhat's mother could not control herself. Her voice trembled, but she was still determined. I'm telling the truth. This matter must be brought to the commune police. We cannot let you continue to harm people. Let the law handle it. To clarify the truth, after hearing enough evidence and having no way to deny the crime, the mother-in-law was taken to the commune police station for questioning. No one said anything more. Only the sound of heavy footsteps and suppressed sighs followed. The house then became empty, silent as if it had just gone through a big storm. Sinnhat and his mother sat down on the chair, both of them silent for a long time. His mother looked at her son, her eyes worried. Do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere? Are you still tired? Sinnhat shook his head, forcing a tired smile. No, I'm fine. Just feels so heavy in my heart, Mom.